Hey guys, it's Nikki. I'm still here. It has been 3 weeks, but today is Monday, January 26th, I believe. It is actually day 157 of Carnivore for me. It has been 3 weeks since I last posted a blog about the carnivore diet. So I'm back. The last couple of days, I have been mostly inside. I have not been outside for probably more than 10 minutes in the last 2 days. And today's the third day of this. We obviously, most of us in this country are in the middle of this storm right now. We still have ice and cold temperatures. I live in Texas where this is not common. I don't live up north in the Panhandle or in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where they're used to getting snow and other things. We didn't get any snow here. We only got ice. Like, it fell as freezing rain the other night, and it's still, I can still see it out there. The sun is out today for the first time in a couple of days. So, okay, enough of that. That it is what it is. But to be honest, the ice is probably the reason why I'm filming right now, because I can't go out and do things, and I'm scared to drive. I know I'm not from the north. I was never taught how to drive on ice. I feel like if I was on ice, I would be a danger to others. And so I just don't do it. So I'm at home. Let's talk about carnivore. So, I guess this is carnivore adjacent. I want to talk about, if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you may have seen, I would do like screenshots of the weight tracking app that I was using. Now, a week ago, a little bit more than a week ago, that app logged me out. And it was an app that came with a scale that was given to me as part of a program that was a benefit for the employer I used to work for. I signed up for that app with my work email address. So when it logged me out, I lost access to be able to get back in, because I have no access to a work email address at a place that I no longer work. So it became useless. My scale, I lost all of the historical data from the beginning of last year, but definitely during the carnivore, I lost all of it. I haven't even looked at to see if I even have any of the screenshots left, but there's that. So what I did was, I had a scale prior to that, before I got the one as part of the program, called an Arbo leaf. And it was a scale that my aunt had given me years ago. And it was just kind of tucked away because I thought I was going to use this new program with my employer and blah, blah, blah. So I pulled out the Arbo leaf and I reinstalled the app, and I have been using that. Now this one is a lot fancier. The one I was using had basically like weight tracking, and like you could go in and add your food and do all that, but I didn't do all that jazz. I don't care how many calories I'm burning. I'm on carnivore. So this one though has a whole lot more data. So we're going to do something here that is a big, huge leap for me. If you pay attention, you will notice that I have, throughout this entire vlog, talked about the number of pounds I have lost, but I have never given you a current weight or a starting weight. I don't know why. I really don't. It's just a number. I know that, but there's always been something very weird about me actually admitting, well, you know what? I think I do know why. When I was pregnant with my first child, someone was in the room when I was either weighed, or a nurse said my weight out loud, and this person reacted very negatively to what I weighed, 8 months pregnant. And ever since then, I've had this real thing about the number, right? I've never seen myself, like when I think about myself, I've never seen myself as big as I actually was, until I hit the high number that we're going to talk about in a second. That's when I went, whoa, like I would look in the mirror and actually see how much space I was taking up. And that was unusual for me because I've always seen myself as sort of a thinner person. I'm tall, I'm 5'9". And so it's weird. And the number's just a thing. There's a mental block here. So this is a big deal for me. So I'm sorry, I'm stalling. Hang on. Okay, we can do hard things here. This is hard for me. But I will say this. Let me preface this by saying this. With the exception of one time in my 20s, I think I was probably around 23 or 24 years old when I had gone on a diet and I got down to 168 pounds, which was very, very small for me in my adult life. Other than that one time, which I did promptly gain all of that weight back because that has been my pattern my whole life. With the exception of that one time, I literally do not recall the last time I weighed sub 200 pounds. I just don't remember. I'm sure I did in high school. I'm sure I did, but I don't remember. I don't remember being at a weight that didn't start with a 2. And I'm 50 now. So we're talking about 30 years with being over 200 pounds, which is fine. It is what it is. I don't have a problem, I don't have a problem with what the number is at this point, because I'm just trying to be healthy. But there is still a mental, emotional thing for me with the number, the actual number. So here we go. The first weight, like if we think back to the screenshots I've shown you before, the first weight when I first got on that medication last April, I was weighing 257 pounds. Over 4 months between mid-April until August 23rd or 24th, when I started the Carnivore, I had lost 15 pounds with the help of a medication. I started Carnivore, we're going to say August 23rd because I really can't remember which day it was. I started Carnivore at a weight of 242 pounds. This morning, I weighed in at 204.4 pounds. So I have lost 38 pounds on the Carnivore diet. I have lost 53 pounds. Yeah, 53 pounds total in the last 9 months. So, it's so funny to me because I have said before, I hit 50 pounds, I've lost 50 pounds. Well, obviously the number had to be really high for me to lose 50 pounds and still be overweight, right? Like I'm not thin yet. So I don't know why I've had such a weird thing about the number, but there's the numbers. There they are. So I have notes, so I have to have my reading glasses. So now that that's out of the way and I've come clean with what the actual numbers are, let's talk about this scale. And I'm going to show you some screenshots. This scale has some information on it in the app that, one, I find very, very interesting. And I love tracking numbers. I love it. I love doing it. I love seeing numbers go up and down. I love seeing trends. I love all of that. But two, full disclosure, I don't know what some of this stuff means. And it has a little bit of a description in the app, but some of it, I don't really care to know what it means. There are a couple of these that I'm very interested in. So we're going to look at them. I'm just going to show you screenshots of what the scale says this morning, this Monday, January 26th, this morning. This is what the scale said and how I weighed in. So obviously at the top, that's my weight. I think it was 204.4. Underneath that is all these different categories of measurements that this thing takes. The first one is body fat, which is interesting. I find that one interesting. The second one is BMI. I don't give two shits about BMI. I really don't. I have read so much over the years about BMI and I find it to be a bogus number. It doesn't matter to me at all. I think that more pinpointed numbers tell you more than this weird equation that just doesn't take enough into account. So I'm going to ignore the BMI, but it's there. Skeletal muscle, and then muscle mass, muscle storage ability level. Don't understand what that is at all. I have no idea, but here's a screenshot. This is where I stand on that one. Protein. Obviously, I know what protein is. I don't know what this measurement is. BMR, my basal metabolic rate. Again, I could care less. I'm not counting calories, so it does not matter to me how many calories I burn in the course of a day just living. Fat-free body weight. Interesting. I don't know how I would use that in understanding things, but subcutaneous fat percentage, I find that one interesting. That's the fat, obviously, that's under the skin, which is different from the next one, which is the visceral fat. This one I find very interesting because I've talked about this one before, and I've always found this to be the scariest thing. The idea of fat surrounding my organs and maybe hindering their ability to function properly has always been a concern of mine. So I don't know how accurate these scales are. I really don't. But being able to at least see a number and then maybe see it shift over time, I really wish I would have used the scale from the get-go. Because I do believe this visceral fat number has come down. And I wish I had seen what it was to begin with. But we're going to keep watching it as we keep going. Body water, bone mass. And then this last screenshot is the weight measurements for the past week. You can see how I've basically weighed the same thing over the past week, but there were dips. Like I think there's a 205. I dipped down to 203, went up to 206, but 204 is where I have been for the last few days. I have been quite sedentary in the last 2 days ever since this ice storm came in. Prior to that, I was hustling, working very, very long hours because I knew I wouldn't be able to work for several days because my job requires driving, and I'm a chicken when it comes to driving on ice or anything kind of sketchy on the roads. So I have been doing online training. I have been crocheting. I have been watching football. I have not been doing a whole lot of moving around. And so I don't know if that has any impact on the numbers on the scale or not really, but just a little anecdote to throw in there for you. So this vlog really isn't all that much of an update as much as it is me saying, hey, I'm still here. Hey, I'm still going. I haven't had any issues really to speak of at all. Everything has been pretty much the same. I'm still eating the same things. I'm still doing the same things with the exception of I have been working longer hours at like real jobs. I have 2 jobs. So maybe that's why I've been MIA. Maybe it's because subconsciously I knew I needed to come clean about my actual weight and I've been avoiding it. But here we are. We're doing it. Thank you for bearing with me while I did that, I guess. I got to move past this. And I feel like this is probably a way to do it. If I put it out there, it's out there. Like there's nothing to hide anymore. So I appreciate you being there for that. Now, if there's any of these measurements on this scale that you have knowledge about, or you are interested in, or you want me to specifically make sure I keep up with and keep updating you on, please let me know. I'd love to do that. I think data is really cool and I like tracking things. So I'm excited to see what changes in the coming months. I'm at day 157. So what is that? 5 months? I've been 5 months, a little bit more on the carnivore. So there are some things that have changed on my body that I can see that I don't know how they're reflected in the numbers or on the scale, but there are a couple things. When I had gotten up to the 257 pounds and on the way there, one of the things that I had noticed was that when I would wear, let's see if I can stand up. Yeah, hi. You can't see my face right now, but when I would wear a short sleeve shirt, there was like this, above my elbow, there was like fat, right? Like it was a bulge. Like it was, I don't know. It was almost like I don't know. I don't want to sound gross or inappropriate, but it bothered me. It bothered me a lot. My arms have always been something that has bothered me. They've always been weaker than my legs. The fat on my arms bothers me a lot. And I had looked it up. And according to some of the things that I read, the arm fat is going to be one of the last things to go. And it is tied to your hormones. So as a woman who has had a partial hysterectomy and no synthetic, I don't take any hormone replacement therapy or anything like that. I'm not surprised when I find if things are tied to hormones. It makes sense to me. But I noticed today that that little bulge is gone. My arms are still big. I still weigh 204 pounds, right? My arms are still big, but I can see progress. Now, one thing I haven't done is measure. In my experience, the actual measurements, they're not good for my psyche. They don't, those, knowing how big around my thigh is not going to do anything for me. It's not going to help me at all. It's only going to be bad for my brain. So I don't measure, but I can see it. I can see a difference. I can put on a t-shirt and not see that bulge of fat coming out from my arm. And so that's huge progress to me. Of course, I still feel great. I'm still on the carnivore. I'm still eating the way I did. I have been working longer hours than I have worked in quite some time. And, I'm fine. I get up the next morning and I do it again. So my energy's really good, all of that. Anyway, I feel like I haven't talked to y'all in so long that now I don't know how to talk to you. So I'm going to get back into it. But this is where we are. We have new fun tools and numbers to look at. So that's kind of cool. And I'll keep up with it. Obviously, the app, and I know how to sign into this one, and I use my personal email. So even if it kicks me out, I can get back in. So any questions, anything you know about this stuff that would help me know what to track, what to pay attention to, what to ignore, because I really am kind of clueless about a lot of these things, I would appreciate. And I'm going to go. But regardless of how busy I get, I'm going to see you soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.